I analyze and summarize all the strategy used in 3 matches by the strongest and heaviest player in the plus 80 kilos. Just cause you ask me how to fight against a heavier opponent. In this way we can actually understand in few minutes what are the weapons of a heavy fighter, and we can understand how to beat those fighters easily. Nice to meet you, I'm Taekwondo Analysis and I love to share my Taekwondo passion on YouTube. If you want to improve your skills with me, just click the like button, let me know your feedback about your video in the comment below and subscribe to this channel to help me to grow. When I talk about heavier fighter, I do not talk about fat fighter. They are a different category and are not really hard to fight. But I talk about fighters that are tall and they have a lot of muscles. So they are a real life raid boss and they are going to kick your soul out of your body if you don't pay attention. So this video is not only dedicated to people that want to understand how to fight against a heavier opponent, but is a great tool also to heavier people to understand how one of the best of this weight class and how an heavy guy can easily beat every other opponent in his weight class. Now let me introduce you Carlos Sansores Acevedo, if I'm not wrong. If you are Mexican, probably you know him because he won a World Taekwondo Championship and he got tons of relevant first prizes. With an height close to 2 meters and for sure more than 100 kilos, he has 2 legs that can easily lift your house with your entire family. So yes, it's not really fun to fight against him. It's not really fun to tank one of his roundhouse kicks. That's why I talk about muscular people and not fat people. Now, to understand how to beat an heavier opponent, we need to understand what are the weapons of an heavier opponent, and I'm going to analyze 2 of his fights. For what you can watch by this fighter, he doesn't expose his body by kicking first. He tries to stick to his strategy and he weight the opponent. Overall, against a light opponent, he doesn't force and try kick first, because the opponent can easily dodge his kick. Of course, he's lower, but he's powerful. So one of his perks is not the speed compared to the light one, and one of his perks instead is the abuse of his weight. If the opponent gets close to him, he kicks and push him with side kicks or roundhouse kick. Instead, if he's not able to keep him out of his range, the opponent is able to clinch him, he starts to push him, and then when he unbalances him, he strikes a defensive roundhouse kick. He can also force you in the corner, and there he kick you and push you out of the timing. Remember that if you push your opponent with your hands, the opponent is not going to take a penalty, but you have to push your opponent out with kicks. So this player is very defensive as a fighter. He does not expose a lot, unless he defocus, as we are going to watch, but he just tries to defend his fighting space by playing passive. Meanwhile, you are watching this video, if you are questioning how to fight a taller player, I let you also that guy in the top right corner. I did it a long time ago, but it's still useful. The weight comparison between those fighters is a lot. The red is 40 kilos lighter than the blue, so he's going to match something that is like a stronghold. And thanks to this red fighter, we learn that we can rush and all in against a stronghold, or we are going to crash our face on the wall. We need to destroy it piece by piece. And once the opponent exposed, we have to invade through a backdoor. So, based on this theory, the red use an hit-run strategy. By a safe spot, poke his opponent, meanwhile the blue wait a mistake. After more than 1 minute, the lactic acid kicked in a combination with a little bit of the focus. Without paying attention, the red was in the blue space and he found a kick on his nose. Thanks to this last second rush, we discovered the true strategy that every fighter should use. They should preserve their energies. They should play very defensive, waiting an opponent mistake. They should defend their space, and in the right moment, they should use their weight to earn some more free kick, while they unbalance their opponents. As last, he uses all his energies when he is able to push the opponent in the corner, because in that spot, also a slower fighter can coach you and strike you fast kicks, because you are an immobile target. The second round of this final wasn't so much different. The red forced an hit-and-run strategy without more success. But once he gassed out and lost some of his focus, that's the moment where Carlos started to fight. Now we know his strategies. By watching this fighter, we can learn a lot about how tricky kicks are not the game-changing weapon in a fight, but what really matters are your perks, how you use them and how you use your kicks. Because for him, the only kicks needed to win a world championship were the middle roundhouse kick and the high roundhouse kicks. So only 2 simple kicks. Now that you understood the strategy of one of the best fighters in this weight class, we can talk about how to beat an heavier fighter by watching the rank 1 that won against the rank 2. Also in this case, Carlos is heavier than Cisse, who struggled a lot against him. So the strategy of this lighter fighter doesn't change a lot, we understand it, we have to play an hit and run strategy. But in this case, Cisse is a secret weapon, he uses a lot of punches. And those punches are very effective against an immobile target. The common Cisse strategy to strike a punch is first a fake sidekick that evolves in a punch. match. Of course, when the opponent doesn't react to the sidekick, or maybe can just use that fake sidekick as a real sidekick. Heavier fighters, of course, are not going to take out spinning kicks in most of cases. Indeed, their most common combination are the roundhouse kicks, sidekicks, and some high kicks. So if you want to beat those type of players, you have to learn to counter a roundhouse kick. And the most effective counter to roundhouse kick is the spinning kick, because you are going to score 4 points instead of 2. By this clip we can learn also how to score with the roundhouse kick, because in my opinion the roundhouse kick nowadays is not the best opening in embedded distance. So as this player we need first to close the distance and use the small step to reach a better striking distance, and there is struck his roundhouse kick. I advise you to get even closer, maybe with a slide or maybe using a fake sidekick. And by looking at some data, the roundhouse kick is a very effective on a closer distance or as a defensive or counter kick. As you can watch, by training mostly this kick you can easily find spots on your opponent guard even in high levels. But don't forget that your opponent in general doesn't have the habit to move and dodge a lot. So if you find a way to press him in the corner, that's the best situation for you. In this spot you can easily strike high kicks and you can easily press him. You can easily take multiple kicks, maybe like 3-4 kick combos. Because like when it happens to you, you're going to fight against an immobile target when he's in the corner. And of course he can't match your kick speed. His only counter in this position, when you press him, he could hug you or he could roundhouse kick. So if you are ready to those type of counters, you can easily have success in the corner. Once we created a scoring gap, that's the best moment to play passive. If you are able to take also a little small lead, that's a great chance for you to win an easy match. Because we can easily secure a round by playing passive. Our opponent is going to waste much more energies if he's going to play aggressive, because probably they have the habit to play a lot more defensively. So they doesn't have the habit or they doesn't work a lot on pressing their opponent. Remember that Taekwondo is still a game. Yes, you can get injuries, but it's not a real fight. Also if it seems to. So once we win the first round, we actually have an advantage over our opponent and we can start to play defensive since the first seconds. Also psychologically, this is something that really works for you. So for the next round, your goal is just to play safe, play a lot with the footwork, save energies and focus them on dodging, on footwork, and try it when your opponent miss some heavy kicks. But never forget your opponent's strategy, because if you are going to not pay attention because you are winning, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. So he wants to close the distance, he wants to balance you and take easy points in clinch. Instead, your goal is to stay out of his range and you have to score defensive kicks, because if you are out of his range, he can't actually use his weight. Once you are able to get a lead, it's probably won. But you have to follow a defensive strategy. Never think that it's won until the judge tells the results. Of course, to lower your guard and maybe lose on point. You have just to continue to fight with the defensive guard, you have to focus on backsteps. So if you want to win against a stronghold, as we learned from Sun Tzu, we have to destroy our opponent's resources. And once the people in the fortress are going to suffer from fame, that's the moment that they are going to expose their shoulder, and that's our moment to track and break for a backdoor. And we can take our victory. In the same way, we have to accumulate small leads, and once we have a decent advantage, we can start to play defensive, we have to focus on our dodge, we have to strike only when it's needed. If you want to learn also how to beat a taller fighter, I let you the video in the center of the screen. Just click it. Instead, if you want to acquire some social media experience, I summarize all my experience acquired through 300 videos on this channel and all my 3 years experience as a digital marketer and data analyst in a video course, where you are going to get in less than few hours all the practical knowledge needed to run and achieve more than 50k followers on the social media you like I did on my Instagram page. Then I'm going to teach you how you can monetize those social media since day one. Just join my subscription for $1.